One of the things and objectives that I have, especially in doing stuff with Graham on Geoscope, is to really bring you the attention that there's more going on in the world than is sometimes generally talked about. That's going on in the news. And if you've watched Geoscope, you know there's plenty on going on in and around the world. Come and join us every Tuesday from about 9 o'clock. We have a good time. But anyway, that's that advert. But one of the areas I have sort of been worried about on Geoscope, and I'm now increasingly worried about, is the potential conflict zone going on, possibly between Serbia and Kosovo. And the idea that Serbia might once again use this, what is currently going on in the world, as an opportunity to try and reclaim what it perceives to be its territory. Now, we saw this just a couple of months ago with Armenia and Azerbaijan, where Azerbaijan retook what they saw as their sort of core territory. They saw that territory as theirs. They are currently in the process of trying to sort of integrate that. You have seen a lot of people from Armenia move out of that territory because a lot of the things that Azerbaijan is sort of implementing is you have to, speak our language, you have to follow our rules and laws, you have to register it sort of as a citizen. And many of those people in that country do not see themselves as someone from Azerbaijan. They feel more, closer to Armenia, and that has caused a lot of movement away from that. Now, luckily, as we've said on that, there seems to be at the moment some form of peace going on. Now, if you want to learn more about that, go watch those Geoscope episodes. I don't want to get too much into that today, but again, just an example of some of the stuff that we've sort of covered on there. But the reason why I'm bringing that up is Azerbaijan did that because they saw it as an opportunity where Russia was currently tied up, and it was Russia that had the main security guarantees to try and protect Armenia. Now, with everything going on in Ukraine, Azerbaijan used that as an opportunity to, well, strike. We saw this with Hamas as well. They deemed it a perfect opportunity to sort of strike. Now you are seeing sort of America sort of tied up in a way in this area. Not only that, but Serbia has been very, very much on the side of Russia. And I worry that the Serbian president being sort of very pro-Russian, and again, even sort of the people being sort of very pro-Russian as well in Serbia, not all of them, of course, being sort of pushed towards a conflict because they are being sort of pushed towards saying, hey, we need to sort of take pressure off us, and sparking another potential trouble zone and conflict could be very, 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 very bad for Europe as a whole. Indeed, sort of the Balkans in this in this sort of area. We saw Dmitry Medvedev go around just a couple of weeks ago, visiting places just like this. He visited Venezuela over there, Guyana dispute that they've got going on. So far, nothing there has happened yet, but still a potential sort of trouble spot. And we've talked about that again on Geoscope. But I want to go over this because the Serbian president has released some very, very alarming, and I think it is very alarming, social media messages very recently. And this, once again, is stirring up the possibility. It's creating a bit of a mystery, like what's he going on, what's he doing, what does he mean by saying this, sort of the Serbian people should be prepared for a conflict. Yeah, I'm worried. And I think I have good cause and reason to sort of be worried about what's going on here. But if this does happen, this will be a NATO conflict. NATO is sort of the peace guarantor here for the peace. If that is sort of triggered, then it will be a NATO sort of response to this. NATO, as we'll see in a bit, has already warned Serbia about these things. But this is yet adding more fuel to this possible fire and this tension building up between sort of Serbia and Kosovo that has been sort of going on really since the invasion of Ukraine. So I can sort of see where, I think everyone can sort of see where the tension, or what should we say, the pressure, shall we say, is coming on for Serbia to sort of do this. So before we do get into this, like I say, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button. There are links down below. There's the Patreon page, there's the Buy Me Coffee link where you can all buy me coffee. There's the YouTube thank you button, and of course, there's the Pony Club as well down below. You can join as well, and to help with my terrible Owen Jones affliction. That, as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help and support the channel, even if you do just click the like and share button. So let's go on into this. This comes from the Daily Beast. With the title of Serbian President's Alarming Social Media Warnings Stir Mystery in Europe. So the Serbian president, Alexander Vucic, I think that's how you say it, issued a very grim statement about an unspecified threat to his country in a social media post on Tuesday. This raised the alarm bells about a possible geopolitical conflict. Difficult days are ahead for Serbia, he said in a Facebook post. At this moment, it is not easy to say what kind of news that we have received in the last 48 hours, but they have directly threatened our vital national interests, both of Serbia and Sapriska, he added, referring to the ethnically Serb Republic Srpska. I think, again, not my forte, but hopefully I'm pronouncing it as close as I can. I'm probably not, but there you go. So as you can see, instantly, a president coming out and saying that's kind of worrying. That is kind of worrying. And so far, bear in mind, there hasn't been too much other activity along these lines as of yet, as of the moment. But so far, hopefully, this is just, a bit of saber rattling, and that's all it is. Hopefully, this doesn't lead to sort of anything else. But this continues. So he vaguely alluded to Serbia fighting and winning in a difficult challenge ahead. In the coming days, I will introduce the people of Serbia to all the challenges that lie ahead. It will be difficult, he said. We will fight. Serbia will win. So this is the big thing. This is the big mystery. Fighting who? Winning what? We don't know. So Vucic has not offered clarification about his warning, but the mysterious reference comes months after Serbian gunmen stormed the village in northern Kosovo in an attack that left 4 people dead. The raid, which took place in September of last year, had coincided with what the White House described at the time as an unprecedented buildup of Serb troops along the border with Kosovo. This is what a lot of people have been worrying about, that this conflict could very, very well easily start again. And that if so, NATO, again, is the main security guarantor here. And that NATO are going to have to get involved in some way, shape, or form. Whether it be what was happened last time, whether it be, an aerial campaign, maybe this time it becomes a ground campaign. I doubt it. But I can see this being very, very much more an aerial campaign more than anything else. So these incidents have now raised concerns that Belgrade, which does not recognize Kosovo, is now interested in escalating its conflict with the Balkan countries, which declared its independence from Serbia in 2008. Kosovo's ambassador to the US previously told the Daily Beast of his concern that Serbia seeks to instigate violence and destabilize the region, with Russians now fanning the flames behind the scenes to prevent the Balkan integration with the West. Once again, another sort of traditional area where Russia saw that area as their backyard. They saw that area as theirs, traditionally theirs. Of course, this comes from the great, Russian sort of ideal that they are sort of the defender of the Serbian people. Of course, this comes from the whole Ottoman times of when the Ottomans sort of controlled that area. This could become a bit of a powder keg, and I do not underestimate Putin's willingness to do that, to sort of prevent more Balkan integration with the West. We have seen an increase of more of those countries want to sort of join the EU and becoming part of the EU, or at least going on course to becoming more part of the EU. So you can see Russia's very, very much would love to, shall we say, gum up those problems or stop that in some way, shape, or form. So, although Serbia announced that it was pulling back its troops from the border last year, Kosovan Prime Minister Albin Kurti, Kurti, I think that's how you say it, shared a video on social media in the recent days, now purportedly showing that Serbian military units are just meters away from Kosovo's border. Once again, fanning those flames, potentially making this a conflict. And this is a conflict where NATO will get involved here. Be under no illusion, this is going to be a NATO conflict if Serbia does decide to do this. But anyway, he continued saying, "We are currently trying to closely monitor the situation for any attempts to cross into our territory." The Prime Minister said. A top US official warned Serbia against any military actions just last week. President Vucic knows that any use of force against Kosovo would be unacceptable and would be regarded as putting in danger the NATO troops, Assistant Secretary of the Bureau of European Affairs and Eurasian Affairs, Jim O'Brien, told reporters during the briefing. To remember, there are NATO troops there in Kosovo. They are there to act as peacekeepers. If Serbia wants to go and take Kosovo, then they will have to tangle with NATO troops. This is why I've said this is where it becomes a NATO conflict. So the very vague warning from Serbia comes after the UN High Representative announced the changes to the electoral process in Bosnia and Herzegovina earlier this week. This announcement was blasted as inappropriate by Miro Dokic, the leader of the Republika Srpska, the self-proclaimed Serb Republic in Bosnia. If you go after that, then we must take measures, and we will have said what measures that we will take. Dokic has said, who previously had called for unification with Serbia as part of an effort to try and unite ethnic Serbs. He reportedly said. Dokic will now meet with Vucic on Wednesday, obsessively to discuss the Easter celebration. But Vucic has said that by Orthodox Easter, we will now prepare a number of important, beneficial decisions for our people. It is not clear what the impact of these statements will have on Bosnia and Herzegovina, though. Vucic thinks of Dokic as a liability, a US official told the Daily Beast. In a report released just last month, the US intelligence community assessed that Dokic's threats about secession could lead to violent conflicts. So this seems to be a bit of a problem, that Serbia threatening Kosovo with those troops at the border, but also simultaneously wanting to sort of take and annex that sort of mini republic that exists within Bosnia and Herzegovina. So there is another potential massive trouble spot here. And this is being done so deliberately so in an attempt to once again try and cause problems, because the more problems that we are seeing in the world, the more easier it becomes for Putin and the rest of the bad actors to now get away with doing these types of things. That it is now less risky to roll the dice. That if you roll the dice now, you may get away with it. And this becomes more and more the trouble point. And this is why conflicts, long-lasting conflicts, the longer a conflict goes on, the more difficult it is to sort of stop it, to try and find solutions to it. But conflicts that start very quickly can end a lot quicker. And I think that should always be the aim of sort of peacekeeping, to, if a conflict does start, to try and bring it to an end as quickly as possible. And if something like this does spark off, then it is going to cause a lot of problems internationally. It is going to cause a very, very big problem. Like I say, there's just those two areas in particular, but it depends. I mean, we'll probably find out sooner or later what could happen here. So, like I say, stay tuned to here. Stay tuned to sort of Geoscope, because we'll probably be talking about this on Tuesday as well. So As always, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to click on the like and the share button. And of course, as always, we'll see you all next time.